So the three words on the board are thanks to Rob Artis. Last year, when we asked for his feedback, he gave us some great feedback. And that when he sends his team out to conferences, he wants them to do three things. One is be inspired, maximize their networking opportunities, and learn a little something. So we took that and made those the pillars of the next 2 days. So we've been working hard for the last, he said, pretty much a year on making sure that content was great. I want to introduce my team. You see our core values at the bottom. This is something that we take very seriously. They're in your annual report. Serve with humility and gratitude. I hope anything that you see from our team is we are humble and we are grateful. The electric cooperatives, the resources they put into this, the resources that they put into everything that we do, they don't have to do it. And I don't know of another utility that it does all the things, has all the resources that we've been given. So we are immensely grateful. Demonstrate technical expertise, whether it's sites, running projects. It's something that we are very committed to. Be intentional and passionate about the work. Oh, it's right in front of me. If you see nothing from us, our team is intentional. We don't let things sit around. We are a sense of urgency with everything that they do, and passionate about what we do. We love our jobs. We love each other. Be essential to those we serve. Everything that defines from the very beginning, everything that we do is based on being essential. We don't need to do what you all are already doing. We need to be an additional resource. And then communicate, connect, and convene. This is part of convening. So we've gone over budget last year. I owned it. It's my fault. But we invited too many people. And every year I go back to the board and say, hey, costs are rising. We can do sponsors. We can cut the number of people down, or we pay. And Terry and our board said, put in the budget. So that commitment just is unbelievable. I was so scared to go into that board meeting knowing we were over budget. Yeah, thank you. And we do this, and the only thing we ask for how many people are new? First year, not that many. Only thing we ask is that you be here, be present. Take advantage of the time that we've built in to network, reconnect, but just be present. That's all we ask. All right, I'm going to introduce my team. I apologize. I just pointed the laser at somebody. Sorry, front row. Mr. Warren Darby, y'all know him. I got a chance to talk to his dad the other night, and I said he's one of the most incredible humans I've ever met. His commitment to everything is 1,000%. His health, his fitness, his family, his church, just an incredible human being. We're grateful for him. And you guys can clap after I introduce everybody. Oh, I did it again. Sorry, Angeline. Sorry, Taylor, I just knocked you in the eye. Angeline. You know her and love her. We love her too. She's now a mother of two crazy boys, and she's an incredible mom, and we're grateful to have her on our team. Her and her extended family, her husband, his family, her family are part of our family. It's been great. Dang it, I keep doing that. I wish I had my clicker. Dude, you're going to be blind by the time this is over. Mark Metcalf, where's Mark? Hey, bud. We stole Mark from the Upstate Alliance. Thank you, John. He's not here. But he's been a great asset to our team. He's another man, 3 kids, incredible father, and beloved by people in the Upstate and other parts of the state, but he's got that connection up there. Andrew, we don't deserve you. Where are you? Andrew Folks, Mr. Existing Industry. He's almost savant-like when a company has a need, there's a needed resource, he knows who to connect them to. And for those of you that have done visits with him, comes back, does a report right away, goes out to all the people that are stakeholders for that company. Just when I say intentional about the work, he's front and center in that world for us. Rebecca Breland. Rebecca, thanks, Jamie. When Jamie left us to go back to Alliance, it created an opportunity for somebody, and I felt very strongly that somebody was Rebecca. We knew she could do it. We knew she had the capacity. It was a matter of whether or not really she wanted to do it. So I said, hey, go talk to Branford. Y'all take a week, think about it, and then we'll talk next week. She called me the next day. She said, I'm in. And just like that, moved into leadership. So she's been amazing. I think everybody on our team would say she's been amazing. Caroline, our force. She is our force. She teaches us all the cool things young people say. She's been awesome. She does community development. I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but you know, I talk to people and locals, and you say, man, my elected official's this, my board doesn't this. Use her as a resource. We can bring resources to the table to help your communities, and that's her specialty. She's also like super geeky on social media. She's a social media influencer, so we tap that thing as well. And then Amber, the newest member of our team, she's actually associated with a cooperative family. Her father-in-law works for Broad River Electric Cooperative. She came in to meet Rebecca for her final interview before meeting me, and I met her out in the hallway. She said, hey, introduced herself, and her handshake was so firm. And she looked at me dead in the eyes. I was like, that's her. Didn't even need to talk to the other people. I knew she was it. And she's been amazing. So that's our team. Thank you for supporting them. I tell people a lot. In 30 years of being in this business, I've had bad board members. I've had bad staff members. I'm blessed to be in this moment with an incredible board, incredible cooperative leadership, an incredible team. It's just to be where I am today and to be able to work alongside y'all is amazing. And that guy. All right, so how did we do last year? It was a great year. We were ahead of goal on capital investment, over almost $1 billion and a quarter over. We were under on jobs. We predicted, so for 5 years, we do 5-year metrics, and we don't change them. We knew going into this year that we felt like our jobs numbers were going to be down from previous years. Capital investment's higher, power use is higher, jobs are down. And that's what that trend is showing us. We didn't predict correctly. There was actually less jobs than we anticipated. But on electric load, look at that. You know, when we did our first 5-year strategy, we wanted to get to 350 megawatts, I think, and we barely hit it over that 5-year period. Over a 9-year period, we brought in about 1,000 megawatts. In 2023, we did 750-ish, and then this year, 800 plus. When we did our metrics, we didn't want to sandbag our board, so we knew we had a couple of projects that were going to be coming in the new year. So we had that prediction of 4. Those were 2 data centers that we thought were coming. And look where we ended up. We couldn't predict this stuff. It's been crazy. Crazy and blessed. So I want to go back to when I first moved here. How many of you did I talk to those first 100 days I was here? Came, sat down with you? There's still a lot of you. A lot of you have retired, I know. A lot of them have retired. They're not here. But I asked everybody the same 5 questions. Basically, what are the 5 most important things about the Power team that we need to keep? What are things we need to stop doing? What are the things we could be doing? What do you most hope I will do? And what are you most afraid I will do? So I'm going to concentrate on the last 3. Big thing was develop a strategy for growth. Boom, that's what we did. Our 5-year, we called it our strategic blueprint. For young people in the room, this is blueprint paper. They actually used to print your house plans on these blue papers. Doesn't make sense to most people anymore. I keep looking up there, it's right in front of me. Be the go-to for data. That's something that became very, very important for us. We hope that it's important for you. So the labor study, if you go into our site, in addition to the labor study there's a ton of additional data, FDI data. We have an infrastructure capacity study that we did a couple years ago. All of that is mapped out. It's queryable. make sure you're taking advantage of it. The labor study for us has been one of the marquee things where we looked at underemployment. Two big things were underemployment and real commute patterns. That's stuff that other people aren't collecting with boots on the ground. So we've got great statewide data on that to really help you all tell your story. Refresh our brand, we did that. Our co-ops sometimes don't like the word branding, so we had to sneak it in through our website. But we did it, and nobody knew it. Cultivate our own leads. So that was something that, prior to my arrival, we would go out and we'd develop a lead, and then basically work in tandem with commerce. But we were building a power plant. Our co-ops were tired of losing to competitors, other IOUs. So that was part of our charge. Be a business development team, bring deals to the table. And so now we go out, if we cultivate it, it gives us an opportunity to put every one of our co-ops in the mix that meet the requirements. And if we can't land the deal within our territory, we've got the state walking alongside with us so that we don't lose the deal for a state. But I'm gonna show you some data that we're not losing many deals. It's been really good. Changed our price, got things right, so we stopped losing deals. Create a more comprehensive approach to existing industry. So when I got here, Andrew was a part-time employee. Not part-time employee, sorry, Andrew. He was part-time existing industry, part-time marketing, sorry. Part-time employee, no benefits. But, sorry, Andrew. Seems like every year, man, I mess up something related to Andrew. I think this is Black River territory, doing an existing industry visit. James Moore, is that you under the mask? Yeah. I think you're holding the phone. But he always comes back with some pics or something that really, he was in a meeting with an executive holding their cat, petting their cat. He gets to eat great food, go visit, those folks. We also started doing headquarter visits. In fact, this year, my mission trips will be just to do headquarter visits to say thank you. When I started in this business back in 1996, I got thrown into economic development by accident. They fired the economic development staff at the chamber I was working at, and I got thrown into it. And I started making all the visits with prospects. I was out front and center, and then I had a boss come in and said, hey, I want you to keep doing the RFIs, get us ready, but I'm gonna do the presenting. I'm like, dang it. He's like, I want you to start calling an existing industry. And I thought, they're trying to fire me. And that first call I made was a company called YKK. Somebody know them? If you look at your zippers, don't do it now. You can do it later. They're the player in the zipper game. First Japanese investor in Georgia. I went to go do a visit with them, and they said, nobody has ever come to say thank you for investment. And that's when it clicked. I still thought Don was trying to fire me, so I found another job. But that became the hallmark for my professional career was, we're gonna take care of our own. We're gonna go say thank you. We're gonna go make sure that their needs are being met. So Andrew he did 88 visits last year. How many HQ visits did we do, Andrew? Yeah, we're super intentional about that. If in your communities, if that's something that you would like to do, our co-op folks, if you would like to do that, Keith Avery from Newberry went with me to Korea, and man, they ate it up. In fact, one of the pictures there is from there. They are super grateful for those visits, and knowing that it's important to us. We need more qualified sites. I saw the House passed the budget yesterday, $80 million for sites. It was $150 million. That was the request. We need, and you all to advocate with the state for more money for sites. We're in a site shortage. We created a site readiness plan. We call it Site Readiness Fund, but $6 million per year, typically. 1 year we did $10 million. 1 year I think we did, Volvo deal, we did 10, and then we did initial 5 over our regular budget for the Inland Port and Dillon. But you see the results of us investing in sites and getting sites ready. And to Jamie's credit, when he came to us as a civil engineer and with Rebecca Now, instead of just bringing a site to our board, we're bringing a master plan project to our board. We know where all the funding's coming from. We've been working on it probably for 2 years before we get to the funding part to make sure that we are ready to go. When our board says yes, it's go time. And it's been great. And we've been very, very blessed with investments. We started this thing on the right, our revolving loan fund. So we have a $10 million fund. This past year, our board moved the interest rate to 0 for 3 years. Max of $1 million, it was $500,000. And we immediately had 2 loan applications. One was a developer doing a project at Ori, and one of our cooperatives, Santee Electric, to build a spec building. And then site advancement fund, that is funds that we put into projects, really prior to projects. If we got to do a phase 1, if we need money to tie down an option agreement, lawyers' fees associated with a site, this used to be fund money. This was money we were spending on websites or whatever. Our board decided they want to focus those dollars on getting sites ready. Provide education, I talked about that already. That is something that for y'all, I know that when I was a local economic developer, when I had somebody from the outside come in, they were hearing what they needed to hear from somebody else besides me. And maybe give them a little bit of ownership of the direction we needed to go in. So if you're having those issues, if you have to train new elected officials, if you want to talk about workforce strategies at a local level, we can help facilitate that through our local electric cooperative. Define our role in our lane. How am I doing on time? Are we already over? I'm gonna speed it up, Darren, I promise. Again, I said in the beginning, we want to be essential. That defines every strategy that we've done for the last 3 iterations, 5-year increments, is be essential. And also, most importantly, is it good for our members? What we're doing ultimately is for the benefit of our members, the person that lives at the end of a road that we got to keep the lights on for, keep the rates down. What do you most hope I will do in my new role? Maintain and grow the relationship between commerce, our co-ops. That's happening today. Getting our folks in front of projects, intentional about keeping our leads, getting our co-ops in front of projects with commerce. So we feel like we've done that. Strength community success rates, uphold our reputation. You all know Ruff had an incredible reputation. So in my career, I followed bad people. I have followed an adulterer. I have followed somebody that took money from the organization, drove it into the ground. This time I got to follow somebody that just is revered in our profession and in our state. So when Ralph set the table, instead of trying to dig our way back to the economic development table in previous organizations, we were already there and we could just soar. So when we launched our strategy, it was great. I wanted to give up. Rusty's here. Where's Rusty? Hey, Rusty. I thought Fred, Gasaway, and Clancy were coming, no? Okay. Well, prayers for Fred. These guys, as part of Ralph's team, and you all were together almost from the beginning, they're responsible for, we stand on their shoulders, and we're grateful for them. Grateful for the time they gave me, helped me learn. This is Ralph's farewell. He was supposed to leave in May of 2013. He was forced to stick around till August until I got there. But just an incredible human. All right, so what jumps off this page to you? What's the thing that jumps off this page? What are you most afraid I will do? What do you think the number one answer was of all of these? Quail. Get rid of the quail at your Christmas event. Number one answer. You have no idea the anxiety. I would have these dreams like 2 months out that we forgot to book the caterer. The quail was spoiled. Like just, it was awful. And then I'd hug him every time he'd walk in, just knowing, okay, we're good, we're safe. But to make sure that we're prepared in case that happens, we make sure that our team is out gathering product all year round. These are not the quail they shot. But they did really, I think you guys had like 13. No, I'm just talking about the ones on top. That's 35 up there. You guys did. You did really well. And Diane got a double, but stuff's in the freezer. We're ready to go. All right? So all of that, when I get a chance to talk to y'all one-on-one, I will tell you that we heard you, and our board responded. And because of all the resources that they gave us, the things they empowered us to do on behalf of you and on behalf of our cooperatives, we have been immensely blessed. So what does that look like? So prior to the strategy, we were getting basically 10% of the deal flow coming to our state. Adopted strategy we launched in 2014. All the resources are in place. We changed our rate to be more competitive, go toe-to-toe with Duke. And look what happened. We now are basically a third of all the deal flow coming to our state. And I would argue, as these city centers have built out, which was IOU territories, the next phase of growth is co-op territory, predominantly going to be co-op territory. Our board is committed to continue to put these resources on the table. In fact, they're so committed that over the next 3 years, we are hopeful that we will increase our site readiness fund with major increase phased in over a 3-year period. So it's pretty awesome. So this is this is jobs. So we've got if you see, I'm colorblind. Most people already know that, but the darker color, shaded color, are persistent poverty counties. That's a federal designation. So our board adopted changes in our guidelines around grants that those folks, if they're applying for funds, only have to bring 50% of whatever the typical ask would be to the table. And you see Barnwell, Ellendale, Hampton, still got work to do, Saluda. Greenwood, we have a little bit of territory on the lake, so it's tough. But we're committed to it, to stay with it. You see investment from 2014 to 2024. All right, real quick, trends we're seeing. Companies, we looked at those jobs numbers. So companies are putting more in CapEx because they can't find the number of volume of people that they need. But jobs are higher skilled, pays increased. A lot of our projects who typically we would be looking at a greenfield site are now looking at buildings that were intended to be distribution warehousing, logistics. A lot of those projects, due to accelerated growth in our dire need of new sites. Again, your voice to help make sure our elected officials understand that. So they're not just doing 80 million this year. Actually, we got to get 80 million passed. So now that it's in the Senate, keeping those dollars in there is critical. Lack of generation capacity. We're going to talk about this tomorrow, but it's not just us that are experiencing challenges. Every utility I know of in the Southeast, absent Texas, is facing the same crunch. These data centers are eating up a lot of capacity, and it's a real thing. So Rob Hochstetler and Cole Price from RG&T are going to talk about that tomorrow at the last session. Don't leave, because this is critical conversations that we need to have. I will tell you too, if you guys are getting inquiries that haven't come to the state yet, haven't come to us, and they're, even 15 megawatts and higher, make sure that our G&T folks are included in those conversations, because it does you no good to go through the paces if there isn't. And I'd say that for the Duke folks, the Dominion folks, Santee Cooper folks, make sure that they know if it's their service territory, and be able to assure you that you're going to have capacity to serve that project. And last thing I'll say about that is we have legislation that the energy bill it's out of the House, so it's on the Senate side. That is critical to our future. That is critical to your future, your personal lives and your business lives. So any help that you can lend, if you can lend a voice to the Senate, we need this to get passed this year. It didn't get passed last year. And trying to keep all the other stuff that gets added throughout the course of the year. Keep it out of there. All right.